So Vinay, thanks for sitting down with us. A couple of big bits of news. We're saying welcome back to Fabio, and we're saying congratulations to Johan. Tell us a little bit about how their roles are going to work.
Absolutely. Well, listen, congratulations to both Johan and Fabio. So Johan being promoted and Fabio being welcomed back to the club. And this is really an important change and an important evolution in our men's football structure. So both of them will become sporting director. And what that means is that we're going to be able to benefit from both of their expertise and both of their experience in terms of how we drive the club forward on the pitch. And whilst this is a new structure, it's probably important to say it's not completely new. Fabio has been working for the club as a consultant, so he has been giving us advice, for example, during the transfer window and also during the process we appointed Thomas. So it's new, but in some ways not completely new.
I think the first thing that will come to mind for fans is it's not common to see two sporting directors. What made you come to the conclusion that this was the right direction for the club right now?
Well, the role of a sporting director in modern football is really, really broad. You've got loads of departments to manage, so medical, sports science, nutrition, scouting, performance, data, the list kind of goes on. So it's a really, really big breadth of functions to manage, but it's also very deep. There's hundreds and hundreds of people that work here in the training centre that come under the remit of the sporting directors. So it's not unusual in football to have that very broad remit to be looked after by more than one person. And for me, this means that we have the benefit of both Johan and Fabio. We've got the benefit of both of their skills and, as I said, both of their expertise and both of their experience.
So let's break it down then a little bit, because as you mentioned, they both have very specific skill sets. What will they be putting their skill sets towards, and what are the different roles that they'll occupy?
Sure, yes, they will definitely both have their own areas of focus, but they will be working as a partnership. So in terms of Johan's areas of focus, he'll be focused on scouting, he'll be focused on performance, he'll be focused on football insights, he'll be focused on performance analysis, and he'll also be focused on the academy. Fabio will be more focused on players, the transfer window and the loans and pathways department. So they have different focuses, but the reality is they will work together on everything. And in particular, they'll both come together around squad planning and player recommendations.
Okay, so the big question, you have two people working in a similar role. Naturally, they won't always agree on everything. What happens if they disagree on something?
I'm certainly not expecting them to agree on everything, and I'm not worried about that, and I'm not concerned about that. In fact, I welcome that. We're going to have lots of big, important decisions ahead to drive the football club forward, and I'm a firm believer in having more voices and having more opinions to make the right decisions. I think having both Johan and Fabio in roles will mean that we will make better decisions. So that will mean that we'll make less mistakes and more decisions that work for the football club.
How well do you know both guys? I mean, have you worked with them both at length before? What's your relationship like with them?
Sure, listen, I've got very good relationships with both of them. I hope they'd say the same when you ask them the question about their relationships with me. But listen, more seriously, I knew Johan a little bit before I joined from his time at Aston Villa. So not well, but I knew him a little bit. And obviously we've worked really, really closely together for the last 4 months. Very smart guy, very forward thinking, very analytical, and has made real significant progress around a number of departments of the club since he joined us a couple of years ago. Fabio I didn't know before I joined, but as I said, he's been a consultant to the club, so I've also got to know him very well over the last 4 months. Fabio, hugely experienced, fantastic network. So I think with Johan and Fabio, we're bringing together two individuals who are very talented, but also to some extent have got slightly different experience and expertise, and I think they'll form a very good team. Obviously for Fabio in particular, it's been a really challenging personal last 2 years or so for him, and he's just delighted to be back in football and back here at Spurs.
And how does this change things for Thomas in terms of the structure?
So I've talked about this, you can probably imagine, with Thomas a lot, and he's completely relaxed about it and very happy with where we're going. He has actually explained to me that this structure of working into two people is something that he's actually really familiar with. He tells me he had a very similar structure at Brentford. He's got very good relationships with both Johan and Fabio. Just had breakfast with him just now, and he's really looking forward to get going. But I think he's got his press conference on Friday, so you'll hear it from him directly then.
Just finally, how do you see this change in structure and the new structure being of a benefit to the club moving forward?
Yeah, it's quite simple. So the ambition of the Lewis family is really, really, really clear. They want us to be focused on driving success on the pitch. They want more nights like the night that we had in Bilbao. And we think that putting this structure in place gives us the best chance over the long term to deliver that success.